Special thanks to Patreon supporter Archduke Angle for making this tutorial possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, ZPro here bringing you another Minecraft World War I vehicle tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Großkampfwagen, or simply known as the K-Wagen. The K-Wagen was a German super heavy tank, two prototypes of which were almost complete by the end of World War I. In June 1917, before the first A-7V tanks had been completed, the German War Ministry ordered the development of a new super heavy tank intended to be used in breakthrough situations. Design work was carried out by Joseph Vollmer, a reserve captain and engineer working for the Transport Technologies Board of Examiners of the Army, and a Captain Wedger. On June 28, 1917, the War Ministry approved the draft design and ordered 10 examples, 5 to be built by the Ribby ball bearing factory in Berlin, and 5 by the Wegmann & Co. of Kassel. The vehicle originally weighed 165 tons, but this was reduced to a more practical 120 tons by shortening the length. The huge size and mass of the K-Wagen made it impossible to transport, so it was decided that it would be split into sections for transport by rail, to be reassembled behind the front line near where it was to be used. 2 prototypes were built at the request of Hindenburg, and were almost complete by the end of the war. Obviously, this vehicle never really went anywhere. At the end of the war, this vehicle was found to be pretty much inferior, and was obviously scrapped and never put into actual service. The tank itself follows that World War I tradition of just being an ugly tank, to say the very least, and it definitely is a very ugly tank. It had a pretty decent armament of 4 77mm guns, which is definitely nothing to frown upon, and also 7 7.92mm MG08s. So yeah, pretty decently powered vehicle, and would have definitely been able to pack a punch and help push front lines, but as we all know, the armor on these things was absolutely terrible. They were very susceptible to artillery fire, to basically just anything on the World War I battlefield. These things were very vulnerable, despite them looking very intimidating. But yeah, interesting build, and should be a fun one to add. This is a redesign. We did do a design for the K-Wagen quite a long time ago, so this is a nice redesign to finally go back and remake this build. Before we go ahead and jump into taking a look at this build, I do want to go ahead and give special thanks to Patreon supporter Archduke Angle for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel more you already do, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video description, where you can go and pledge a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so earn a view quick request of your choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel, and is really greatly appreciated, so definitely feel free to check that out. Again, link is on the video description. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in here and take a look here at the K-Wagen. So starting off with, we have the front of the vehicle here. You have the driver's viewport, and also, I guess what you'd say is one of the many hull-mounted machine guns located here on the front. As we work our way to the sides, we have these kind of little sponsons that pop out the side, which include our 77mm guns. So we have one facing forward, one facing back, machine gun in the middle there, and also another machine gun located here. And then further back, we have another set of machine guns on the back here as well. So facing toward the rear there. And obviously it's the same thing on both sides there, those sponsons with the 77mm field guns. And then on top here we just have the exhausts over the engine area, and that's really about it. It's a pretty simple, straightforward build. K-Wagen wasn't anything too spectacular in terms of design and detail. It's a pretty plain tank, and for the most part it's just a simple build, I guess, to add to your World War I battlefields, and this one's a lot more kind of size accurate to how it would have been compared to my previous version, which was a little bit oversized. So anyways, pretty interesting build. Should be a fun one to add to your World War I battlefields. But without further ado, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer, layer number 1. Alright guys, so moving into our first layer here, we have layer number 1. For layer 1 to go ahead and get started with, here we're going to place down 2 nether brick slabs like this, followed by another 2 like so, and then we're going to place down 2 sets of 2 of nether brick top slabs like that going forward. Going back from that, we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 stone full blocks going back, and the same thing will be done on coming off that nether brick slab there. We're going to go ahead and then do the same thing we did in the front there, 2 nether brick slabs, 2 nether brick top slabs, 2 sets of 2 of nether brick slabs, and 2 sets of 2 nether brick slabs. After that's all done, we're going to then place down a row of 1, 2, 3 of stone top slabs across, and going up here, same thing, 1, 2, 3 across. We'll then go ahead and fill the inside end of the tank in with our stone top slabs. So again, we're just going to take this all the way to the front of the build like so. So just like that. And after that's done, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did for the tracks, just over here to this side. So like that, and then our nether brick slabs, our nether brick top slabs, and then lastly we're going to take stone buns and just run them all the way along the side here of these stone full blocks. Again, same thing over here. And just like that, and once we have that all complete there, that's going to be it for layer 1. Again, pretty simple stuff, taking a look at it from the top down view, this is what it should look like. But yeah, that's it for layer 1. Let's go ahead and move on to our next layer, layer number 2. So for our next layer, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to get started with here, we're going to take our stone full blocks, we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way across. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 nether brick upside down stairs on both sides there, and then tripwire hooks like that in between them on those stone blocks. We're going to go ahead then go to the back of the vehicle and we're going to do the same thing. Row of 7 of stone across, 2 nether brick upside down stairs both sides, and tripwire hooks there on the inside. We then want to take our stone blocks, we're going to place down a row of stone going all the way to the front. So just like that, and same thing over here. Going to run it all the way along the side here of the vehicle. Then at this point, we want to take stone buns. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go into the front here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Over here on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. We also want to go ahead and cover up the stone here, or not stone, but the nether brick slabs right there, so that we can't see into the vehicle from the bottom there. So it just kind of closes that off, makes it look a little bit more put together there. And then at this point, we're going to go ahead and then place some stone buns here on the vehicle itself. So we're going to start off by going ahead and going to the one. We're going to go ahead and go from this stone bun here. We want to go ahead and go 2 spaces over. So 1, 2, and then on your third space, we're going to place down a stone bun. We're going to do the same thing up in front here. 1, 2, 3, stone bun here. And then we're going to find the middle point, which is going to be, again, 2 blocks over. Then your third block, a stone bun like that. So it should look like that from the side there, and same thing will be done over here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, like that on the side there for your stone buttons. And after that's all complete, you can also go ahead and fill the inside in here with stone. You don't really need to. This is kind of your interior space to work with if you do want to put an interior on the build. It does have quite a bit of space on the inside here because it's basically a giant box, so there's plenty to be able to put in here if you do want to do an interior, but you can also fill it in. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, though, that is going to wrap up what we have there for layer number 2. Again, here's a aerial overview of what this should look like from the top-down view. And with that all complete, that is going to wrap up that layer, and we'll move on up to layer number 3. Moving on up to our next layer, we have layer number 3. For layer 3 to get started with here, we're going to take our stone blocks, we're going to place down a row of 7 going all the way across this section here. We then want to place down 2 nether brick walls, or rather, actually, sorry, we're going to go and place down a row of 7 of stone blocks going all the way across here as well. We're going to go then place down 2 nether brick walls to both sides like so. And that right there is going to basically finish that off. On the sides here, we're just going to place down a stone bun on these stone blocks. On the back, we're going to do the same thing. So we have our row 7 of stone full blocks, our 2 nether brick walls on both sides like so. And then again, stone buns on the corners there like so. And then we'll place down our row 7 of stone across the space here. Now after we have that done, we're just going to take our stone blocks. We're going to go ahead and build all the way along the side here. So connecting our front to our back. Just like that, and same thing over here. Just like this, all the way to the front like that. Now, at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and then basically start working on our spawn sensor here. So we're going to go and go the direction you want the front of your tank facing. We're going to have our front of our tank this way. So we're going to go ahead and start on this end. And we want to go ahead and count back. It's going to be 1 and 2 blocks. We're going to place down a stone button like so. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and go back another 2 blocks, and we're going to place down a glass pane. So we're going to go and go 1 in our second block here. We're going to place down a glass pane. Then 1 and 2 stone blocks, another glass pane to the side here. Then we're going to place down 2 stone blocks like so. Another 2, another glass pane, and then this time 3 stone blocks to the side. And then after that, we're going to go and place down 2 stone blocks, a glass pane, and then continuing on, we're going to place down another stone block here, and then their glass pane. Now going back from this stone block here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stone blocks, and then we're going to place down a light gray stained glass pane right there. Now along the side here, we're going to take stone buttons. We're going to place down a row of stone buttons all the way along this side here. As well as going to this back section here, we're going to place down a stone button on this side of this block like that. And then on the side here around the spawn sim, we're not going to place anything. We're just going to leave it as is. That's pretty much good to go. And we're just going to go ahead and go over to the other side of the build, and we're going to basically do the same exact thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do this a little bit quicker as I already explained the other side in detail. But both sides, again, are going to be exactly the same here for this tank. So all you need to do is copy what we did on the air side. And just like that, we have our other sponson over here on the right side. So looking at it from above here, this is what we should have for the top-down view of this build so far. And with that out of the way, that is going to conclude what we have there for layer number 3 for the build. And with that, let's move on up to layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4, starting off with our front, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 narrow brick walls on top of these 2 from the previous layer. And then we're going to place down a row of 7 of stone full blocks directly behind those. We then want to also place down a row of 3 of stone top slabs in between the narrow brick walls, like so. And around these narrow brick walls, we're going to go ahead and place down dark oak wood signs that wrap around, like so. We also want to place down a stone button on the side here of these stone blocks, like that on both sides. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then take our stone blocks, and we're going to place down a row that runs all the way along the side here. So all the way back toward the end of our vehicle, so right there, and same thing over here. So just the same thing, run this all the way along the side of the build, all the way back to this point. Now at this point here, we're going to go and then place down a row of 7 of stone blocks that's going to go across the narrow brick walls like so. And we then want to go and take our stone buttons, we're going to place down 1, 2, then 1, 2, and along the back here, we're just going to place down a row of stone buttons all the way across there, like so. After that's done, we then want to go ahead and start working on our sides for our vehicle. So for this to go ahead and get started with, we're going to place down 1 and 2 stone buttons right here. We then want to go ahead and grab ourselves some polished andesite. So we'll use some slabs here of polished andesite to begin with. And for this, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 polished andesite top slabs here. Now after we have that done, so after those 3 buttons right there, we're going to go ahead and place down a 4th one, and then we want to go and then place down a light gray stainless paint on top of this paint right here. We're going to go ahead and take our stone blocks, and we're going to go and build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stone blocks, I believe. Or actually, rather, no, this is going to go all the way back, so this is going to go all the way back along this side, and it's going to end right here, and we're light gray stainless paint like that. And we're going to leave that alone for right now. To go ahead and kind of build off the side here, we want to go and begin with by going ahead and grabbing ourselves first a stone brick wall, which we're going to place down coming off the side of this stone block, and then going forward from that, we're going to place down 2 polished andesite top slabs. We also want to place down a dark oak wood sign on the side of the wall, and then a polished andesite full blocking this section here for the start of our first field gun. We're going to go and then place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 stone blocks back, and we're going to go ahead and place down a glass pane, or actually rather, sorry, a stone brick wall located in this section, like so. Our kind of next row out to the side here, we're going to place down a glass pane on top of this block, stone block here, then a polished andesite block like that, stone brick wall with a dark oak sign on the side of it, and then we're going to place down 2 polished andesite top slabs going back from that wall. And after that is all done, that's pretty much it for those guns there, and we're going to go and transition back to our stone buttons. We're going to go and go to our 3rd button here, so 1, 2, 3, stone button on top of that, and then back here in this corner, this last block, stone button going up 1, like so, as well as a stone button that's going to be going up on top of this, or above this one, like so, again for kind of like the riveting and seams there in the armor. Now the same thing will be done over here on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and again do this a little bit quicker, as I've already kind of covered this in detail, I would say, and we're just going to go ahead and basically do the same thing just over here to this side. And just like that, we pretty much have that other side done. So just make sure that these buttons do go across here. I did notice that they weren't there, so I don't know if it seems like I just missed it when we were transferring the other side over in the previous layer, so just make sure that is transferred over. But we have our same thing on both sides there. And what that's basically doing there is pretty much creating the design here for the tank. It looks really nice and just really works for the overall design there. And yeah, that right there is pretty much it for this layer. Again, we'll take an overview of what it looks like from the top-down view. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on up to our next layer, which will be layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5, go ahead and start off on the front here. We're going to place down 2 stone blocks on top of these narrow brick walls. We then want to place down a light gray shulker box on its side over here on the left side of the vehicle. This is going to be followed with a birchwood fence gate and then a chain coming off like that for the first machine gun. After that, we're going to place down a stone block here in the center and then a stone top slab to the side of it. At this point in time, we're also going to go ahead and take some black concrete, and we're just going to place this behind the slab to kind of, make it look like a viewport, so it's kind of dark looking in there. Obviously, if you do want to do an interior for the build, you can leave that open and have that as a viewport there for the driver, if you are doing an interior. But for our build, we're not doing interior, so we're just going to leave it alone. Then to the sides here, we're going to go ahead and go back 1 and 2 stone blocks, 1, 2. On the center block, we're going to place down a stone button that goes up. We then want to place down a light gray shulker box. Again, this one's going to be on its side like we did for the front here. So this will be on both sides, and we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate coming off of it, and then a chain for our machine gun. After that, we're going to then take our stone blocks, and we're going to go ahead and build a row all the way along the side here. That's going to take us all the way to the rear of the vehicle, and it's going to end right here on top of this row, and same thing over here. Just like this, going all the way back. And it's going to end right here. Then we're just going to go and take our stone blocks. We're just going to go and do a row of stone going across. And on the block that's not the furthest outside one, but the one right inside from the furthest one, we're going to place down a stone button on both ends, like so. Now after that, we're going to go ahead and then continue to work on our guns here, or little sponsons on the side of the vehicle. So for this, we're going to start off by going ahead and placing down a light gray stainless paint on top of this one. Then a stone brick wall right here, and then next to this stone brick wall, on top of this stone brick wall from the previous layer, we're going to place down an andesite stair, and then a polished andesite full block, so like that. Then we're going to place down a stone block here, 2 stone blocks, then another 2 stone blocks here. Coming off this stone block, we're going to place down a light gray shulker box on its side, a birchwood fence gate, and then a chain. And we're going to go ahead and continue on back from that with a row of 3 of stone full blocks. Then we're going to go ahead and place down another row of 3 going across. It's going to be a row of 2 and then a stone brick, a polished andesite block. And then we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished andesite stair coming off that polished andesite block. We're going to go then place down a stone brick wall here on the inside, and then take our stone blocks, 1, 2, 3 stone blocks, 2 stone blocks, and then a light gray shulker box on its side. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stone blocks back. Another light gray shulker box like so, birchwood fence gate, and then a chain coming off of it like so. We then want to place down a stone button here on the side of this block, as well as a stone block button on the side of this block here, just like that, for the side there. And then this back section here, 1 stone button going up right there in that section. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and basically copy the same design we did on the air side over here to this side. So again, I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit quicker, as I already covered the air side in kind of more extensive detail. But it's the same thing like we've been doing on both sides, which is something that makes this build pretty nice, is that it's really symmetrical. So I'm not too worried about having some differences in between the 2 sides there. So just like that. And then we have our stone block, stone brick wall, and we're going to take our stone blocks and go back like so. Obviously, don't forget your shulker box that goes right there. Stone button above this one, right here. Light gray shulker box, fence gate, chain, and then a stone button right here also. And that right there is going to pretty much wrap up what we have there for this layer. Again, we'll take a look down from the top like so, and that's what it looks like. And with that, we'll be moving on up to our next layer, which will be layer number 6. Alright guys, moving on up to our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to go ahead and get started with, here we're to place down a row of stone pressure plates all the way across the front here, like so. We then want to go ahead and continue on by placing down a row of pistons here. Now this right here will depend on what version you're on. Us being on Java, we do have access to a tool which allows us to do some cool things with these pistons. So just across like that. If you're not on Java, I would recommend probably using a replacement block. You can use some stone slabs instead, would work. Stone stairs even. But basically these pistons here are going to definitely be for Java players with access to commands. So just keep that in mind for this section here, as basically your design may vary. And obviously if we do the pistons, we can place down a stone button on both sides as well. After that though, we're going to go and take our stone blocks. We're going to go and do a row of stone all the way across the top here. Like so. So row 7. And then we're going to go and then do another row of 7. Followed by a second row of 7. And then on the side here, or actually sorry, I should say a third row of 7. And on the ends here of those rows, we're going to place down stone buttons. After that's done, we want to go and then place down another row 7 of stone full blocks across. This is going to be followed up with a light gray stained glass pane to both ends. We're going to go and then place down a row of 9 of stone blocks across. Then after that, we're going to go and place down a second row of 9, going all the way across. Again, a light gray stained glass pane to both ends. We then want to place down a row of 11 of stone blocks going all the way across the top here, like so. And then we're going to place down another row of 11 after that. Then a light gray stained glass pane, again to both sides. We're going to go then do a row of 13 going all the way across, just like that. And then we want to go and then place down a light gray stained glass pane to both ends. And then another row of 11 all the way across. We're going to go and then do a row of 9 across. Again, light gray stained glass pane on the ends there. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and then place down another row of 9 all the way across. Then a second, or sorry, this will be a third row of 9 at this point. So third. Then we have 4. Then we're going to go to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Going all the way across there like so. We're going to take stone buttons and just run it all the way along the side there of those rows of 9. Just like that. Then a light gray stained glass pane on both sides there. Row 7 of stone blocks across. Then we're going to place down a second row of 7. And then a third row of 7 going across here. Stone buttons on both ends of those rows of 7. At this point here, we're going to do the same thing we did in the front here with our shulker boxes. Or not shulker boxes, I should say. But our pistons. So just a row all the way across. And we're going to place down stone buttons on the side here with the pistons if you're able to. Now at this point what we're going to do here is, being on Java, we're going to go ahead and type in the command /give @p Minecraft :debug_stick. This will give us this glowing stick here. We can go up to these pistons and left click the pistons until we get selected extended false. By right clicking we can go ahead and actually get rid of that wooden portion on top there, which really helps kind of angle or shape the front here of the vehicle pretty much pretty close to that actual kind of curve it has on the front of the vehicle. Obviously, again, there's alternatives for those that do not have the debug stick by using some stone slabs or stairs, but these pistons here are going to be kind of your best bet in terms of, basically designing these. And that right there is going to pretty much do it for layer number 6 there of the build. We'll be moving into our final layers here, which will be layers 7 and 8, in which we're going to basically do all the top detailing and pretty much finish this build off. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our last final layers. Alright guys, so moving into our last final layers, we have layers 7 and 8. To get started with here, we're going to take our stone buttons, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along the front here. And then along the sides, we're going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and we're going to go to 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 stone buttons along the side. Then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again, all the way along the side here, 21 stone buttons going up toward the front. So just like this, and we have those buttons laid out. We're going to go then place down a stone button that will be coming off this block here. So one like this, and same thing over here on this side. We then want to go ahead and take our polished andesite, and we're actually going to replace the stone blocks here in the middle with a row of 5 polished andesite. And we want to go ahead and go in total and place down 6 rows of these. So we already have 1, we're going to go and do 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rows in total, like so. Now we're going to go ahead and take our stone buttons, we're going to place down our row of stone buttons across, like so. And we're also going to go ahead and do a stone button here and a row of 5 going across there and a stone button right there. We then want to go ahead and grab ourselves some polished, some blocks of netherite, and we're going to place down what is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 polished blackstone walls and a wall on top of these 2, like so. We're going to go ahead and also grab ourselves some rails. We're going to place down a rail here, and actually we're going to delete the stone button and place down a rail right there as well. Same thing over here, like that, for some vents. Then to the sides here, we're going to place down a rail right here, and also a rail here for vents. Again, same thing over here. So just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some daylight detectors. We're going to place down a daylight detector here, turn to night mode, as well as a daylight detector here, turn to night mode here, and also right there. Once that's all done there, we want to go ahead and then move kind of toward our front direction now. We're going to place down an iron trapdoor here, skip a space, narrow iron trapdoor like so. We're going to go ahead and skip a space again, and this time we're going to place down an andesite wall. Right here, a polished andesite block, and then to the sides around this polished andesite block, we're going to place down some walls, and then a stone button on top of that polished andesite block like so. And after we have that all done right there, that is going to basically conclude, for the most part, what we have for this build. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything, and everything kind of appears to be good to go. So that right there is going to pretty much wrap up our design here for the Großkampfwagen or K-Wagen. Hope you guys do enjoy this design and are able to put it to good use. If you do use this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This will be a link from a on the build, link to my channel or this video if this does appear on social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're pretty much free to use it for whatever builds or whatever projects you're working on. Other than that, though, again, a big special thanks to Patreon supporter Archduke Angle for making this tutorial possible. And as always, feel free to check my Patreon page. Again, links in the video descriptions. With that, though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as we here at 2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.